Hey guys, it's Will with Core Performance again. Today's video gives a brief overview of cold weather injuries. When it comes to cold weather injuries, the United States military typically breaks them down into three main categories: non-freezing, freezing, and hypothermia. Non-freezing injuries happen when blood vessels constrict for a long period. That restriction reduces blood flow. A classic example of this would be trench foot, which was a painful condition caused by your feet being wet and cold for way too long, leading to damage in the tissue. Trench foot was very common, seen in soldiers in World War I. They would stand in waterlogged trenches for long periods and had to endure cold, wet, and muddy conditions. That ultimately led to swollen limbs and a loss of sensation in the toes. It's probably one of the main reasons that our doc always made a point of telling us to keep our feet dry and warm by changing our socks when able, and then of course, to get back to facing outboard. Trench foot is a classic example of a non-freezing cold weather injury and can occur in temps well above freezing. Freezing injuries, on the other hand, would be like frostbite, which happens when the fluids in your skin or tissues freeze, which is normally about when the temperatures dip below 30 degrees Fahrenheit. It affects mostly the fingers, toes, nose, and ears, those bodies that are exposed to the cold and where the blood flow gets restricted as your body tries to conserve heat for your vital organs. You can actually get frostbite just by touching something extremely cold, like metal. It'll make you feel kind of like you touched a hot boiling pot of water or a hot stove. It's a similar sensation. That is what we call contact frostbite. So maybe think twice before grabbing that frozen handle with no gloves on. When frostbite is superficial, where it's just kind of on the skin surface, careful rewarming can help. But if it's deep, it can lead to amputation of that affected body part. Freezing can destroy cells, causing permanent tissue damage that may require extreme medical treatment, like cutting away dead tissue to prevent infection or gangrene. You may think that this is only for Arctic explorers, but as an example, just this past January, an extreme cold snap in Kansas City led to dozens of frostbite cases and 12 amputations, some of which were just trying to enjoy a pro football game. Frostbite can be disfiguring for sure, but hypothermia can be deadly. Hypothermia happens when your core body temperature drops below 95 degrees Fahrenheit and is a legit medical emergency. The body can't produce or conserve enough heat to prevent internal cooling. So as mentioned previously, humans can normally only survive if our core temperature stays close to 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So preventing hypothermia is critical. In the next video, we'll talk reducing heat loss. Stay tuned.